What did I just watch? Oh man, in case you're wondering what, I just finished watching Will Smith's video apologizing. Yeah, you can probably tell by my tone of my voice and my body language what I thought of it already, but apologizing for what happened at the Oscars with Chris Rock. And you know what? I'm gonna play the whole thing, and I'm gonna let you see for yourself what I thought about it as it watched in real time. Let's go. Okay, he's coming to give some answers.
Why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech? I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out. So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did, and that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, and I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment. So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship. Tony Rock was my man. And this is probably irreparable. I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the nuances and the complexities of what happened in that moment. And I'm not going to try to unpack all of that right now, but I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. There's no part of me that thinks that's the optimal way to handle a feeling of disrespect or insults. After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my history with Chris. Jada had nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, babe. I'm so sorry to my kids and my family for the heat that I brought on all of us. To all my fellow nominees, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me, and it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment. I can still see Questlove's eyes. It happened on Questlove's award, and it's like I'm sorry really isn't sufficient. What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed that you let them down? So there's two things. One, disappointing people is my central trauma. I hate when I let people down. So it hurts. It hurts me psychologically and emotionally to know I didn't live up to people's image and impression of me. And the work I'm trying to do is I am deeply remorseful, and I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself, right? I'm human, and I made a mistake, and I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of shit. So I would say to those people, I know it was confusing, I know it was shocking, but I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world. And you know, if you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
You kind of saw, I kind of kept quiet for most of that, and you saw some of my reaction, you know, facial expressions and hand gestures and stuff. I'll be honest, I really want to believe the guy. I really want to believe him. But here's some problems. And maybe it's based on how I was raised. In fact, some would argue that I was over-disciplined. But that's a whole nother debate issue. Bottom line is, the way I was brought up, you make a mistake, you man up and you apologize and you accept whatever consequences comes. And you do it right then and there. No, ain't no 3 and 4 months later. And yeah, I still got issues with the fact that he was allowed to stay at the Oscars. He got his, now the award, I have no problem with him keeping that because he earned that. But I'm sorry, the man should have, if it had been any other brother, it would have been a regular brother that went up on stage and smacked Chris Rock like that, he'd be in handcuffs. He'd be in jail. He'd be waiting on a court date right now. Because it was Will Smith, he gets a pass. And I feel all kinds of way. And I think part of it's because of the way I was raised. You man up and you accept whatever punishment and you apologize right then and there. I mean, to me, I want to believe him, but did he feel robotic a little bit? Like, I don't know, like he didn't want to do it. It felt almost like, Chris, I am sorry I mean, it's like either some kind of deep pride or perhaps a certain someone basically had a stick up his behind and was playing puppeteer. Which, by the way, if he was sincere, he needs to talk to Chris. If Chris will talk to him man to man off camera, we don't need to see it. We don't need to know about it. And please, Will, do not let your wife talk you into doing some red table talk about it. No, absolutely not. This needs to be settled between you two off camera, if there's ever been. And really, Will is definitely the one to apologize. I know some argue, well, Chris should apologize too. He said, but first of all, the joke wasn't even that offensive. And even many of people, including people who were friendly with the Smiths, even said the joke wasn't even offensive. Number one. Number two, that whole thing about, did Jada tell you to do that? And he's like, no, she didn't. No, she didn't have to tell you. She gave you that look. You knew what was up. She didn't give you actual speaking communication. She gave you that nonverbal communication. when she rolled her eyes. Because remember, Will Smith initially laughed at that joke. Wasn't until Jada gave him the side eye that he decided to do what he did. She gave you that nonverbal communication, and that can be just as powerful as actually speaking. Bottom line is, I want to believe the guy. We'll see. Maybe I'll make a video in the future saying, you know what, Will Smith was sincere. He stood up. He took longer than he should have, but nevertheless, he apologized. Maybe I'll come back here. But right now, I'm in the camp of, I want to believe him, but I'm like, something's a little off here. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. I'm out.